Hey everyone, exciting news. We've officially launched the Paranoid Perspective Patreon. If you love what we do, unpacking conspiracies, chasing mysteries, and laughing through the weirdness, now you can support the show and get more of it.
So for as little as $5 a month, you will get exclusive access and extra perks to the episode. Sarah, what do we get with Tier 1?
So Tier 1 is the Curious Minds, and you get a shout out at the end of every episode.
Next tier, this is what you guys really probably want. Ad-free episodes. We don't need those pesky ads that you guys are getting on Spotify, Apple, whatever else. You will get all episodes ad-free along with what else, Sarah?
You'll also get it ahead of time. So before the episode releases for that week, it'll be available for you to watch or listen.
So if you guys are interested, check in the show notes down below, or you can head to patreon.com/the Paranoid Perspective Podcast. Welcome back to the Paranoid Perspective. I am Jake.
And I'm Sarah.
Sarah, have you ever seen neighbors bringing groceries?
No, not really.
Have you ever had weird bouts of deja vu where you know you've been here before, but you never, have?
Yep, yeah.
Well,
lots of those.
All of these point to the stunning conclusion that more than likely we live in a simulation. Someone you have a little diamond over your head and someone is controlling you, Sarah.
Like this. Okay, that's a little far. Where's my cheat codes?
I know, right? Where are mine at? I need those, man.
Yeah.
I need to get the cheat codes,
That's the only way I played.
I'm not asking for much here. I just, a little financial stability where I don't have to worry about a whole lot would be amazing. Just an average little thing,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Maybe we could do the cheat code from The Sims. Wasn't it like with a trash can or something? I
can't remember. I barely played that game. So, but funny, one of my nieces plays that a lot, or not one of mine, my niece-in-law, however you want to call it, Yeah. She plays that game all the time, and we kind of were talking about this last night. It was hilarious because that's just what I'm picturing now. Just all of us running around the world with little diamonds over our head.
Well, as long as they don't take out the ladder in the pool.
I know, right? We're all just going to drown. But it's a question that's been proposed by, scientists, philosophers, science fiction fans alike. Do we actually live in a simulation? And depending on who you ask, the answer isn't just maybe, it's most certainly. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things, man, where I was actually talking to a few people about it, and the differences between this and like religion are nothing. You know what I mean? Like there was a creator that made you into existence, and you know what I mean? It's kind of
and guides you on your path.
Right. Yeah. Everything is predetermined because it's laid out in the code, man. But at its core, simulation theory proposes this. Everything around you, the people in your life, the planet we walk on, the sky, the stars, even probably this very podcast is all a sophisticated computer simulation. Every single thing. It's easy to think about it with most of the theories that are out there of like a super realistic video game, right? But instead of using things like pixels and polygons and other things to create these images, we are being built upon by particles and atoms and laws of physics. So it's kind of just like a super advanced video game that are actually using real physical materials to do it. So the reason why it feels so real is because it's designed to feel real. Duh.
Right. Yeah, we wouldn't know otherwise.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, in all honesty, I mean, what happens if we are in a simulation and we become self-aware? Does the person that created the simulation just like, oh, it's like the Matrix. Nope, we're just starting this over again.
Yep. Unplug it.
Yep.
Yeah. That'd be a bummer.
I know, right? I wonder, I mean, not that, I guess you wouldn't know if it just stopped. I don't know. But The simulation theory suggests that advanced civilizations, perhaps more advanced than we can even imagine, have created this simulated universe, which, kind of harping back to what I said earlier, God, right?
Right.
I mean, that's literally what they would be if
Yeah.
that is truly the case.
Right.
So these are conscious beings, just like everybody that we interact with, or so we think, but they live outside of this reality that we perceive. So once again, God, you know what I mean?
Okay, but wouldn't it be like simulations within simulations then, or something? Like we have, video games that are the Sims, maybe, or whatever, and then they have their own sim. Like, would they? Who's the master?
I don't think that answer makes sense, or that question makes sense. You know what I mean? That's like, it's the same thing we've talked about before of like, if you're at the North Pole, which direction's north? It does, like, that question doesn't have an answer. It doesn't mean anything, because how would you determine that? I mean, if the universe is even the age they say it is, of like the 13.8 billion years old, we probably wouldn't be the first simulation.
Yeah.
There would probably be some like super advanced civilization that possibly survived from very early on in the existence of the universe. But then to think too, if we're looking at it from the perspective of this is our universe, so they wouldn't exist here with us either. You know what I mean? So I don't know how you would even
we're
really
just
begin to
a universe in a box, and then they're a universe in a box, and then
yeah. It's just boxes. It's tesseracts, just tesseracts upon tesseracts of just all this. So, but to get away from some of the woo stuff, this really just isn't science fiction. Okay. So there was a philosopher named Nick Bostrom. He published a now famous paper titled "You Are Living in a Computer Simulation." And I have seen that article before. I don't think I've read it all the way through. I know I've definitely read that before. But essentially, he proposed, at least one of the following things are true. Civilizations like ours never reach the level of technological advancement required to run realistic simulations of their own. They just don't. Advanced civilizations don't bother running oh my God, I can't talk. See, here we go. It's all fucking starting again. Help me out here, Sarah. What is it? Simulations. Got it. Boom. See, just took me a minute to catch up. Or we are most certainly living in a simulation right now.
Yes.
Thank you. So those are the three things. Either we never get the technology to the point where we can get there. If there are advanced technology civilizations, they don't even worry about doing this shit. Or we are most certainly not in the actual reality. We're in something that is made up. Right. So there's a few. I'm sorry.
Was he saying those are all like equally likely in his opinion, or?
He proposed that at least one of the following must be true.
Okay.
So I'm assuming based on that yes, they are all equally likely, but it's not like something that would be together. It would be one of the three. So that was kind of a standpoint with that paper. And I mean, there's a lot more to it. And listeners, I would encourage you, if you're interested, to go check out that paper. We can have it linked down below in the show notes, or that article that he wrote, because that's just a very brief general overview of everything that he had in there. But if we start to think about it, in future civilizations, if they can create these realistic oh my God, it's gonna be the worst fucking episode now. I've gotten to the rhythm now, and now I can't fucking break it. Simulations. Simulations. There you go. This is going to be the best short ever. Simulations.
This is your character doing this on purpose.
They're fucking with me because they don't want me to get out the information. See, proven point right now, listeners. Here you go. They're like, hey, stop this dude from talking. Just one specific word. Simulation. There you go. That's how I'll say it for the rest of the time, because now I got to really think about it. But if they can create these realistic simulations, and if they decided to do it, it's very likely that there are way more simulated realities than there are these base realities. There would have to be. Because if they can start to do it, why wouldn't you just be like, oh yeah, now this is just the new hot video game. Hey, every teenage kid with a whatever electronical device can download this on that device, and there you go. Now you're just, you got a snot-nosed kid that is just, creating an entire universe, and maybe we are one of those universes. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. It's like that. I've heard, like, what if we're the science fair project?
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. We're the fat guy eating Cheetos in his mom's basement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's who we are. Or something like that. Like, it's because I always think it's funny how much hubris human beings have about like us, like, oh, we're the great creation of whatever, blah, 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 blah. In reality, it's just some crazy, like, fourth dimensional being that just got bored, that still lives with his mom, and just,
maybe,
oh, this will be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah. So to kind of get a little bit serious about this, so there are scientific cases for the simulation theory. Now, there is quite a lot that scientists have to say about this. One of the key arguments for the simulation theory is based on computational limits within the universe itself. So, for instance, the speed of light. That nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. And I know, like, people that really buy into this are probably like looking for something like that, but it appears like it's a built-in rule for the universe. Like there's nothing you can do. There's no cheat code to get away.
Faster,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Now, if we do have a cheat code, i.e. like warping space to be able to travel, and we are in a simulation, I mean, I wonder what's going to happen with that. You know what I mean? Like, because if we're not supposed to break that speed limit, and we do, then
it won't load.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like
the space will be like,
it won't render fast enough for you to observe it. You know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of interesting. Another really crazy one, and I don't like the way this is. Okay, and listeners, to preface this, I am not an expert in any of this stuff. I like to read about stuff and watch videos about this stuff, but I am no means an expert. So I'm about to say some real stupid shit right now. So don't light me up for not knowing things. I'm telling you right now, I'm not knowing about this, but it freaks me out. In quantum experiments, particles are always in a state of probability. They don't choose a definite state until they're fucking observed or measured. That scares the fucking shit out of me.
Yeah, they're like waves and particles, right? Until it's observed or something.
Yeah, until we interact with it. Then it's like, oh, nope, this is what we're doing. Nope, this is what we're doing.
Now this is the way I'm going,
Nope. Don't like that at all. That is
weird.
It's so fucking crazy. It's so crazy. And I hate not knowing, like, not having the capacity to understand what that means, but it scares the shit out of me. So, but some proponents of simulation theory say this is exactly how a simulation would operate, kind of what you harp back to, Sarah. Systems only render when something is looking at it. For instance, when you're playing in a game, if you're playing something like a crazy, like super high visibility first person shooter game, like it's not going to render stuff off to your peripheral left, right, or behind you, because it just needs to focus on what's in front of you. So everything else is not going to be actually rendering until you turn to look at it. I mean, we do that now with most video games.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, how many people, do you think everyone is real, or are there NPCs? Because like everyone's looking at stuff all the time. Like it's got to render everything that people are looking at.
See, that's where it gets weird, right? Because I think if it is a simulation, you are like, everyone close to you isn't an NPC, but everyone else is. But everyone has their own version of that. at the same time. You know what I mean? So to 99.9% of the world, I'm just an NPC because,
Right.
you know what I mean? I know who I know, but, and I was kind of, I was poking fun with a friend of mine last night talking about this. And I was like, well, that's why you can say the most off the wall shit to people and they're not going to do anything because they don't know what they like if you were to go to like a convenience store and buy a soda or whatever you're going to get, you know what I mean? And you just said the most wild shit to them. They're probably just going to be like, okay.
Yeah. Well, is that because you're crazy or is that because they're an NPC?
Or because they don't have the loaded response that's saying your total.
Right.
Thank you. Would you like a bag? Would you like a receipt? Those are their coded responses for you. No, I'm just poking fun. In all honesty, they probably are just like, holy shit, get this dude out of my fucking store. I don't want to see, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but it does make for an interesting thing because how would we determine, because it would be very personal. It like, yes, for me, this is what it is, but for everybody else,
Right.
I mean, I have friends, I have families, I have kids, I have, you know, significant others. Like they can't be NPCs because I interact with them on a pretty regular basis. You know?
Yeah, you would think they're not NPCs. Although maybe you can befriend an NPC. That's what acquaintances are.
But if we're in such like a super high powerful simulation, maybe when you befriend the NPC, it like changes the code.
Yeah, it like becomes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Man.
Maybe.
Who knows? But we kind of already talked about it, but it's like games do that to preserve like processing power as far as rendering not what you're looking at and only doing that. So if it was a simulation, that's exactly how it would behave. Are you familiar with the Planck length? It's like the smallest measurable length of space.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's all over the universe and it has a minimum resolution, like a pixel on a screen. That's how people would like to describe, you know what I mean?
What?
So once again, it's like one of those, it's like speed of light. It's one of those things that is literally everywhere and you can't go smaller.
Right.
So I didn't like reading that part either.
Yeah.
This whole like actual scientific part like freaks me the fuck out because it's like,
it makes it seem more real. Like
I know. Like listening to people talk about it and like saying funny stuff about it, like, yeah, it's fun too. But dude, like when I kind of started deep diving into this part of it, I was like, dude, I don't like this at all.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
So physicists have even suggested that we could find clues to our simulation by looking for underlying patterns of code hidden in the fabric of reality itself. There is a theoretical physicist, James Gates, who claimed to have found something strange in the equations of string theory, mathematical structures resembling error-correcting codes.
What? Wait, how do you find it in an equation? Like what?
Sarah,
I don't understand.
You remember how I say I don't be knowing things?
Yeah.
I don't be knowing what that means. But
yeah, he just really zoomed in the equation.
Look, I've tried. I've listened to so many podcasts, watched so many videos, listened to experts in that field of like quantum theory, string theory, like these super fringe, really revolutionary, like scientific endeavors. And dude, within about 2 minutes of them speaking, I'm just like, yep, it's, I don't know what that means. Like, I can't comprehend what that means. So I'm going to kind of go out on a limb and say if he's a theoretical physicist, he's probably significantly more smarter than 90% of the people I know. And I'm going to trust him with what he's got to say.
Yeah.
That's just me. But to hear something like that, like we have stuff in games that will like correct certain things. And if we do have an error, it will reload and do stuff like that. And to be able to find supposable mathematical structures resembling that.
Yeah. Sounds like we are in a simulation.
Dude, I'm telling you, like I said, at first I thought like, I know there's scientific backing for this. I know people have talked about this. I know I've heard podcasts about this, but I have never really dug like super deep into the actual, like what people are saying. And so I get like, and being able to like mentally digest it.
Yeah.
In, an easier way than hearing these like 15 syllable words. And then, But doing this little bit over the past week, it was like, dude, this is not fun. But to kind of get out of like the more scientific stuff, I mean, it's been a big thing in pop culture forever.
Yeah.
You know, one of the biggest ones I'm sure a lot of people have seen or have at least heard about is The Matrix, you know, and one of the famous, I think it was something as the effect of like one of the first big lines in the movie was, what if everything you know is an illusion? Or something to that effect. I can't remember exactly what the quote was. But, you know, I don't think we're being like battery powered for some crazy AI that we created, you know, thousands of years ago. But at the same time, it that movie in particular, like it shows a lot of stuff like deja vu. It shows a lot of stuff that like you can, if you become aware of the simulation, you can start to crack the simulation and start to do things outside of, you know what I mean? So that was a cool way to kind of approach that, especially like that was in like the late 90s, if I remember correctly. So real ahead of its time movie. Second, third one, not a fan. First one.
First one's very good.
Yeah.
Maybe they knew things.
Well, maybe it was the person that created the simulation or the thing that created the simulation just slipping a little bit to be like, hey, think about this now.
Right.
Oh, but philosophers, even as far back as the 1600s, questioned whether we could trust our senses at all and wondered if we might all be dreaming or deceived by an evil demon creating a false reality. So, I mean, it's been around for quite a while. And I mean, I know like philosophy has kind of like ebbed and flow out of like the cultural zeitgeist throughout, you know, the centuries, because sometimes it's super important to have like these real deep thinkers and philosophers. And then I can imagine with that little quote at the end of what I talked about in the 1600s of being controlled by an evil demon creating a false reality.
Right.
It gets a little, you know, it ebbs and flows for sure throughout the years. But
yeah, anything's possible, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, you can even look in like current, we have stuff like Westworld, Black Mirror. And we touched on this at the beginning, The Sims. Like that is probably one of the most popular video games from that era, and it's still being played today. So I don't know. It's one of those, like, I've always kind of thought about it like, why does it freak us out so much? And I think it's literally what I said at the beginning is it's not what it seems. What we're seeing is not what it seems, you know? And I think everybody has had that sort of feeling before, that what they're seeing in front of them is not really real. So,
well, you do create your own reality too. So
true. Yeah.
Then things can feel unreal or whatever.
And perception, your perception is your reality. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's your social ideas, whether it's your political ideology, like whatever you are feeding into yourself and that in perceiving, that is what your reality is.
Right.
And I think that's a product of just evolution of human beings. And I'm not saying that from a simulation theory perspective. I'm just saying, I think that's how we operate. That whatever we put in is what we're going to perceive outward.
Right.
Sort of idea.
Yeah. I mean, you can have like 100 people see the same event and everyone's going to tell it differently.
Yeah. It's like the world's biggest game of fucking telephone. It's not even funny. So, but here's where it gets really weird. There are glitches in this reality. We kind of touched on this already.
Glitches in the Matrix.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
I love that subreddit.
Oh, dude. Right. So that's what I'm saying. So you've got stories of personal glitches in the simulations, you know, and I would highly recommend, I've been on that subreddit before too, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But you know, something as simple as deja vu.
Yeah.
Where I still have bouts of deja vu, like all the time. I don't dream.
Yeah. I don't have deja vu as much anymore. I used to have it a lot more.
Well, maybe the simulation is feeding it to you when you sleep, and it's like I'm the one that's getting it while I'm awake, you know, or conscious or whatever that means.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, do you think deja vu did we talk about this before where it's like that was your last checkpoint or something? Like you died?
No,
That's
but
the
I
theory.
100% would agree with that.
Yeah.
Maybe that is like whoever's playing your sim took the
Yeah.
fucking ladder out of the pool
Right.
and your last checkpoint was wherever you were at. And, you know, now you got
Yeah.
to start back over again. Hopefully, since I've made it this far, I don't like respawn back to like a 12-year-old or something like that. And, you know, just got to do this shit all over again.
Hey, then you can make really good investments.
Well, but would you even remember?
I don't know. Yeah. Would you?
You know
I
what I
guess
mean?
not.
Would you just, because you would just remember up to that point
That's
where
true.
you got to, you know what I
Right.
mean? But
Oh my God.
the person, if you're being like, if you were literally being played, the person that is playing you would remember everything because they saw
Yeah.
it as well up
Right.
to the point where you died. So
Yeah. Maybe they learned some things.
that's what I'm saying, you know, and you call it whatever you want. The fat guy in the, with the Cheeto dust on his shirt or your guardian angel, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I mean, it who knows? I've had this happen quite a lot. Moments when time seems to slow down or jumps ahead. I have had so many moments of like lost time or like no shit, seeing things happen in slow motion.
Really? Just normal, like everyday things?
No, it's been like extreme
Yeah.
circumstances, but like in those extreme circumstances, like, and you could chalk it up to adrenaline, you could chalk it up to, you know, whatever fears going through your mind at that point where you've got to be hyper focused on like the task at hand. Sure, I could buy
Right.
that, but nonetheless, it has happened so many times, especially with the time slowing down, and like it literally is just like slow motion.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
But then the jumping ahead, that happens quite a lot, like where I will lose track of time, and it's not just like 15, 20 minutes, it's like hours.
Like still
So-
that's happening? Not when you're
Mhm.
younger? Oh, wow.
Mhm.
It's not just you get in a flow state
It
and
might
lose.
It might be, but it only happens when I'm by myself, though. That's what
It like skips, yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It only happens when I'm by myself. It doesn't happen when other people are around.
You know, it does feel like when I have a day alone and I'm like working on stuff and it's like the whole day's gone and I'm
Yeah.
like, I only got like 2 things done.
That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
That is exactly, dude. Like I said, we talked a little bit off air. The current situation I got right now, I'm going to have a little bit of time to myself. I'm so fucking terrified that it's just going to fly by and I'm not going to get anything done.
Yeah. I feel like that does happen.
Well,
It goes
and
so fast.
And once again, it's just like, it's not like I'm just vegging out and playing video games. It's
Yeah.
like I'm working on stuff. And then it's like, oh, where are we at? No. Oh shit. It's, 2:00 in the morning. How did that happen?
Right.
So
Yeah, that is weird.
I don't know. The last one was kind of interesting. Vanishing objects and reappearing in possible places, and I've had a handful of times where that had happened. Craziest thing about it, when I was putting this together, that happened to me last night.
Really?
It happened to me last night.
What happened?
I was at work and I had to run out to my car to get a few things and I couldn't find my keys. I don't ever put my keys anywhere besides my right pocket in my pants
Okay.
or in the bag I bring to work.
Yeah.
None of those places.
Hmm.
It happened to be inside of a trailer. Listeners, I work at a warehouse
Yeah.
for my day job. It happened to be inside of a trailer. Now you can chalk it up because I did go into that trailer at last night. I did do that.
So just like fell out of
Well,
your pocket? I don't think so though.
That's what I'm saying. It's fucking like I was putting this together today, and when I was doing my notes for this episode, I was like, hold the fuck up. I don't like this either. What are we doing here? Because that literally just happened. And I didn't have I had all my notes like kind of like loosely together, but I hadn't put like anything together yet until today. And this happened last night. Like,
it's just giving you a story to tell for this.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, hey, got a good one.
Because aren't your keys kind of big? Like, how would they fall out without you noticing?
Well, and I don't like, I don't hang them out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Like they're completely in my pocket.
Right.
So-
and guys' pockets are like a mile long. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
They should not have
Like-
fallen out.
My wrist, sorry, hit the microphone, listeners. My wrist, like down to like here, goes
Yeah.
into my pocket. It's
Right.
Yeah. So
That's weird.
dude, when I was putting these together today and I was kind of organizing what I was going to talk about, I was actually really good. You'd be happy, Sarah. I
Wow.
organized the shit out of this today.
That's
Maybe
great.
it's part of the simulation too.
Yeah.
But no, when I got to this point of the episode, I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
And to be fair, I've had stuff like that happen quite a lot where I
Yeah.
cannot find anything. And the keys are a good example. Like I would have heard them drop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You're in a confined metal box. You would have heard them drop.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe it's a goblin
Maybe.
playing tricks on you.
Yeah.
Isn't that what some people say? Or leprechauns or something? Or
Well, I mean,
fairies.
you could chalk it up to any like
yeah.
mythical creature because I mean, if we are in a simulation, these things that we perceive as monsters, demons, fairies, Bigfoot, whatever, like if they are able to come in and out, like, yeah, we wouldn't be able to like fully comprehend what they
Yeah.
are. So, but yeah. So was this just an error? Was I just my keys just fell out of my pocket, or was this the
Yeah.
simulation that like had a glitch when I was in that trailer and that's where
I
they
think
landed?
it was a glitch.
I feel like it was.
Yeah.
Now,
feel like-
granted, I'm buying into this pretty hardcore. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. Most of the stuff I'm kind of like, this seems like bullshit. I don't know why this doesn't seem like fucking bullshit.
It speaks to you.
It speaks to me. My Cheeto eating, player is, really making me go all in on this, I suppose.
Yeah. I believe it. I don't know. Now I believe it for some of the
Dude.
science stuff too. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, people see, here's where it gets kind of creepy though. People report seeing like duplicate strangers, like doppelgangers for other people.
Yeah. I've seen, yeah, where it's like people on a bus and they all look the same in the same seat or whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of those too.
Yep. Or yeah,
That's
like you
true.
said, two people that look or act identical
Yeah.
appearing in the same place at the same time. Like, I don't know. And see, this is another one that kind of freaks me out because I've seen this happen before to people. And I chalked it up to being an overactive kid and having imaginations. People describe bizarre experiences where literally reality or objects themselves will seem to flicker or freeze, like a frozen video game, like trying to like lag,
Right.
like catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've seen that too?
Yep.
Wow. As a kid or more recently?
No,
Just
more
as a kid.
as a kid. And
Yeah.
like I said, you can chalk that up to being, young kid, overactive imagination or whatever. But no, I haven't seen that in any time in the recent years. But, the skeptics will all say the same stuff where it's coincidence, you're playing like a psychological trick on yourself or you're having like memory errors. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, like the human memory is not like a good
Yeah.
way to like gauge it because like you said, you could have 15 people see the same thing and they're going to have 15 different stories on what happened.
Yeah. Right.
So it's completely understandable, why people would be skeptical, and it could be signs that the simulation isn't quite perfect. You know what I mean? So, well, the burning question that it was funny because I had a friend of mine ask me this and I threw this in here. Why are we being simulated? Why would
Yeah.
anyone want to run simulations of our lives? I looked into this, Sarah, and there are a shit ton of theories as to why there would be simulations of whatever.
Like Earth or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Historical research. Our future selves, super advanced human beings, might be simulating the past to study us, their ancestors.
Right. I have heard that one. That would be an easy way to like kind of time travel, but
Yeah,
not
it's-
fuck with any of it.
Yeah, you're literally time traveling, but
Yeah.
you're in complete control of it at the same
Yeah.
time. Like you're not going to do anything. And I mean, honestly, the way that we are as human beings, like that's what we like to do. We like to study things. We like to learn things. We like to observe, and we like to see what could happen if this happens. And, you know, maybe when you see all these like crazy, you know, actresses or political leaders or like crazy wars that happen just out of nowhere, maybe that's just them like, hey, let's see what happens if this dude does this. You know what I mean?
Well, can they stop?
I know, right? Calm the fuck down, everybody.
I mean, you know, anyone would like pay to be on the Titanic to witness it. Like that kind of stuff. Like,
right.
You would simulate all that anyway.
Yeah. Well, and that's getting into the next possibility is entertainment. We've kind of talked about it already, but yeah, we can do that now where we have VRs where you can go and simulate a reality of, and granted, you can't like smell, you know, touch, feel, but it's not that far off. Like I guarantee you within our lifetime, there will be some sort of simulation where you can literally plug yourself in and you will be able to experience whatever you wanted to experience. I guarantee that is definitely going to happen. You know, because the way that VR is already, even with those stupid games, my kids have got that gorilla tag thing, man.
Yeah.
And dude, when you fall in that game, your brain tricks you into literally thinking you're falling.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you realize right away that you're not, but for that like split second, you're like, oh fuck. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So
it's easy to put yourself, I mean, it's like that experiment where they cut off your hand, but it was a dummy hand. That's
right.
Yeah. Like you don't even have to be in a VR to think that your hand just got chopped off.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not like a long lasting thing. It's that split second that your brain's like, oh fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what that experiment is meant to, you know, underscore more than anything. But I mean, the same way that we play video games now, like that is a huge part of Western culture. You know what I mean? Why would it not continue to persist as we proceed into the future?
Right. Yeah.
It's definitely going to.
People love like cozy games too and stuff. Like just living life and stuff. Like that being the farmer, what is it? Like Stardew Valley and
yeah, dude, like
all that stuff. They have to work and get money and
yeah, if you like, I guarantee you, there is so many different markets. Like, let's say, hey, for the next 2 hours, I want to see what it was like to live as a peasant in medieval Europe.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go see how I would live, where I would work. You know, and there are plenty of people. I mean, like you said, there are people that play those farming games right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if it's like, well, shoot, if I could actually sit in this massive piece of machinery and till this field and physically be there.
Right.
But I'm not really doing it, but I am at the same time. Why not? It's definitely gonna happen. And I would bet within our lifetime that you'll be able to put on a suit or put on something, you know, to interface with your brain to where you will be put into that simulation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But see, then that's what freaks me out, because if we're aware that we can do that, who's to say that's not already happening and we are creating yet another simulation?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah. We just keep going. Yeah. Down the rabbit hole.
We just keep on going further and further, you know, into the tesseract of however many, you know. But there is a few theories that, you know, are a little bit morbid, darker. We kind of touched on this too. We could all be part of an experiment. That's very well what it could be. And that would, you know, not to be cynical or anything, but when, you know, like I said earlier, you got crazy political leaders, you got wars that pop off out of nowhere. Maybe that's just them fucking with us and seeing what we're going to do. You know what I mean? It could also be something even crazier of a test to see how intelligent beings behave under certain conditions. It could be an advanced civilization that's just like, hey, before we make ourselves known to these guys, let's put them in this thing to see how they actually will be.
Would react and stuff. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So the bad thing is, if we are in a simulation, it's more than likely we won't be able to tell.
Yeah.
So,
well, besides the science we already talked about.
Well, that's clues to it for sure.
Right, yeah.
But there are many scientists that reject the simulation theory. There's always going to be the pros to the cons and the cons to the pros. The biggest criticism, it's unfalsifiable. You can't prove it. You can't disprove it. It's just one of those like,
and it doesn't really change much anyway. Okay.
Right. It literally changes nothing.
Right. So
even if we found out we are, it's like, well, what are we doing about it? And then if we are we're not even like physical, like actual beings outside of it. So what are we doing? It doesn't matter at that point. You know, I think it would be kind of like simultaneously terrifying and a relief.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know how you would wrestle with those two extremes, but I feel like it would definitely be those two. Like,
yeah, I mean, then you would know.
Right.
Like, whatever the purpose. Well, you wouldn't really know the purpose, I guess, but.
Well, even if there is a purpose, there might not even be one.
There might not be.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then how would people take that? It's like, well, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just, a mess of atoms and, photons that these people created just to push buttons and be like, oh, hey, dude, watch this. I'm about to have this, guy say this to this guy. Let's see what happens. Like, it'd be pretty disheartening. But
well, then you can look at the sky and just say, fuck you.
Yeah,
Jerry.
Just stand up.
Fuck you, Jim, over there. Like, I don't know. Make a name for the little person or the thing that's controlling you.
Yeah, that Cheeto eating, living with your mom ass bitch.
Yeah. And then when something happens, you trip on the sidewalk, you're like, fuck you.
Yeah. But others point out that even if simulations are possible, there's no reason to assume that they would be common or we would even happen to be in one. You know what I mean? So it's such a complex thing to try to argue too, because like if we're simulating an entire universe down to atoms, that would require like unimaginable processing power. Possibly more than it would be more than the universe we currently inhabit. It would be.
Right.
But for the other side of that argument, if it's an advanced civilization and they made this, it's nowhere close to what they live in either. You know what I mean?
Right.
So maybe they do have access to that sort of power, but maybe that's another one of those constraints that we kind of have on ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't have to have all the power of our universe because our universe would only exist what we look at.
True. Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, like you said, it could just render what is needed and when it's needed.
Right. So it could be a lot less power than you're thinking.
Yeah. And then that kind of brings us back to that, the quantum observer effect. Yeah. So, it's like nothing is choosing to do anything until it's actually observed. I mean,
right.
That still scares the shit out of me, man.
It's just suspended until it's like, oh, okay, now I'll do this.
Or not even there doing anything. You know what I mean? But once again, listeners, I don't be knowing what I'm talking about when I talk about this stuff. It just, if you know if you know, comment down below and let me know and get me up to speed on this stuff because I don't know. So what are you thinking, Sarah? You think we live in a simulation?
I'm starting to think, yes, we do.
Yeah. I was already kind of like somewhat pretty confident on it, but after that first bit of research I did into it, I was like, damn, dude. And then the stuff happening, like, and call it for what it is. It could have just been a coincidence where I did drop my keys. It very well could be. It could have been something where they were hanging out in my pocket and I dropped them.
Right.
I don't think that's what happened.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's just me.
Yeah, the simulation gave you a sign so you would believe more.
Well, and see, that's the only other thing. Like, why would it want me to? That's what I was thinking about today. I was like, well, if it was a simulation, wouldn't it not want to be known that, you know what I mean?
Maybe it's become sentient.
Yeah. Maybe. Or maybe I'm going to get a knock on the door from the Men in Black here in a couple hours, and they're going to be like, hey, you need to delete everything on your computer that you talked about simulation theory.
Possibly. Well, let me know if that happens.
Yeah. Well, I won't be able to.
They'll reset you?
They might reset me. Then what am I going to do?
I can't have another podcast host.
They're going to reset. No, they won't do that. They're going to reset me back to last week when I decided what I was going to do.
They'll pick something
else for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. And then I won't know.
You won't know.
I'll pick simulation theory later. And then they'll do the same thing to me.
Then we're going to have just a rolling effect.
Yeah.
Because eventually we're going to get back to it. It's going to happen when we come back to it. It's not going to stop.
Yeah.
But that's about all I got for simulation theory. So listeners, let us know what you think. Do we live in a simulation? Do we not live in a simulation? Anywhere you see this episode, make sure you interact with it in some way, shape, or form. Give it a like, comment, review it if you're listening to it on a podcast streaming service. Share it with a friend. That goes so much further than you could even imagine. Check out all the links for our social media. Pretty much just search Paranoid Perspective. We will be there. Check the show notes. That's where all our social media will be at. Check out our Patreon for some pretty cool little perks over there. Might have some future things in the works possibly happening, but we shall see. And as always,
remember, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not watching. See you next time on The Paranoid Perspective.